Welcome back. I hope the first segment proved useful for you. And the next pieces that we'll start to talk about will start to give some shape to build a solid foundation, a solid personal platform that takes into account your wholeness. All right, these are a couple big questions. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be in the world? And how do you want to be in the world? How do you want to live your life? How do you want to show up in the world? I find it invaluable at the start of any new idea to begin with reflection. So I'd encourage you to either pause this recording in a moment for some reflection now, or schedule some time, like literally pause, write it down in your calendar when you're going to do it, but schedule some time for reflection after you've listened to the entire segment. This is an opportunity for you to take a look at who you're being and how you're living in this moment, and more so, looking at who you'd like to be on a daily basis at this point in your life. And if you feel really far from the version of yourself that you wish to be, just consider it a call to action. And don't worry if you're not who you want to be, or you're not, or if you feel far from that. This is a temporary state. And you can shift it with small adjustments one day at a time, gradually returning to a sense of alignment. It just happens little by little. So don't worry. And here's a side note, is that over the years, I found that most people's vision of who they wish to really be is often pretty close to actually who they already are deep down. So it just got covered over. You know, we get busy, we have responsibilities and demands, and it kind of covers over these authentic parts of ourselves, who we really are, who we really want to be. So sometimes this process is about clearing away what's blocking us from seeing ourselves and living authentically as who we are. And as you may have experienced in your life, often the best leaders and mentors tend to know themselves really well and live and lead with authenticity. Think of yourself when you're completely relaxed, or spending time with friends, or you're in the zone doing some activity that you love. Chances are good that this is a good snapshot of who you really are and who you wish to be, the essence of you. So it's not necessarily what you're doing, but it's how you're feeling in that moment. So now it's not that you're recreating yourself, it's more like you're rediscovering yourself, because I promise you it's most likely already there. Like you were already living that way, most likely as a kid or at some stage in your earlier life. So once you've got some clarity around who you wish to be, then you can start crafting aspects of your life, of daily habits, beliefs, choices that you bring, and the ideas that bring you closer and closer to the version of yourself that you want to be. It is possible to skip this step, however. Imagine heading out on a road trip without having decided on your destination. At first, maybe it's really fun for a while because there's lots of interesting adventure and discovery and spontaneous flow, but eventually you would likely yearn to feel like you're headed somewhere meaningful, or to experience a sense of accomplishment, knowing that you've arrived at your desired destination. So it's really all about setting up what you desire and then moving that direction and having the experience of moving into it. It feels amazing. Otherwise, you would just keep driving around with no measure, no purpose. That's kind of how we wind up going through the motions of living sometimes. It's not super fulfilling living this way, and it's definitely not sustainable without some undesired consequences happening, whether it's health issues or just overall unhappiness. This is the time where you might consider pausing and doing some reflection. You can zip back to the earlier part of this segment and see what you want to be thinking about, and just take a few minutes. And then we'll continue in the next segment.